Okay, in this video, we're going to review uploading a bankruptcy mailing project. This is your typical motion to amend a plan or notice the final report, anything that has to be mailed to the entire master mailing matrix or that involves a bankruptcy mailing to an address list that you provide to us. So we'll just go straight into it, and we're going to click on Upload a Bankruptcy Mailing Project. If you click on the little envelope that's here, it'll take you to our online form. Now this online form is where you begin. It's the first page of several, and you're going to fill in your account information on this first screen. So for instance, I'll type in my bar number, 28262, and I practice in Washington. This constitutes my username, which will actually be 28262WA. And then I go to the field that allows me to type in my email so that I get back a confirmation receipt. Now, if you're the person uploading the job, typically you want this to be your email address so that you know the job was received. Upon successful submission of the job, an email will be sent to you that says this job has been successfully submitted and we are working on it. You can also designate additional people to receive the email certificate. Now, this is not the confirmation receipt, but this is a copy of the PDF certificate as well as the invoice at the end of the day. So for instance, perhaps you have a bookkeeper that you want to send it to. So you could send it to them, bookkeeper@lawgroup.com. And that would go off to my bookkeeper at my firm. In this instance though, we'll take it back to my general email inbox. And what copy will be sent to Catherine as well. And now in the next section, I fill in what my return envelope should look like. The return address line on the envelope should have my firm name, my address, city, state, and zip. I also put the phone number in here because this goes on to the certificate. A lot of courts have a rule that says your address and phone number must appear on the PDF certificate that is filed with the court. Now, what's nice about this page is that every time I want to upload a mailing, I don't want to have to retype all this information in because it's the same thing every time. So if I check this box down here, I can check that box and it will remember this information. So when I come back here the next time, I won't have to retype any of this in again. So once I've finished filling in this page, I click on Next, and I go to the next page in the sequence. This is where we get the bankruptcy information from you. So if you're in your case, you want to put in your case number, which could be 10-40070. This is a case for of one of my cases that I have in my firm. And if there's an adversary case, you can put it in there as well, but typically it's not. So you'll also put in your court district, and you have an option here of what district you want to be in. Some states don't have any district, so you would just select no district. Other states can be northern, southern, western, eastern, central, or middle. I practice in the Western District and Eastern District of Washington, so I will select Western District for this job. And of course, I'm in the state of Washington. But you could just as easily select the Eastern District of Arkansas or the Western District of New York. It doesn't matter. It applies to all the districts throughout the United States. Here, I'll put in the debtor's name. Now I want to show you something interesting that you can do. I understand that experience is a great teacher. And if you want to upload a job, but you don't want to have it mailed out because you just want to learn the system, you can put in the name Homer Simpson. If you put in Homer Simpson and Marge Simpson, our system is designed not to recognize these names and will not process the job. However, you can upload all sorts of different things to us to experiment with how the system works. The only other requirement, if you're going to be doing a test upload, is that you use the case number 000000. And with the 0 case number, Homer Simpson and Marge Simpson as the debtor and joint debtor, you may upload a job to us and we will ignore it. This allows you to play around with the system and learn how it works. Now, just like on the previous screen, you can check the click here box and that will set the court district and the state as defaults. That way when I come back on here, since almost all of my cases are in the Western District, it'll almost always say Western District. So I click on Next and go to the next screen. In this section, we're going to determine who will have the documents mailed to them. And you have three options. Your options are to allow us to go online and get the master mailing matrix on file with ECF and Pacer. This is the default, and it is the one you should choose, because we will automatically go online to the bankruptcy court and we'll download the master mailing matrix for that case. You just need to tell us which district that it's in. And you can do that just like you did before by selecting the district and the state that you practice in. Now, if you don't want to upload the ECF, or you don't want us to go get the ECF matrix for you, you can give us your own list. But be forewarned, you must have reviewed the format requirements for both PDF, doc, and text files. And you have to make it look the way our matrix looks. We just can't take any old PDF. It has to be specifically formatted in our system. The same thing applies to text files. And if you aren't sure what those are, you can click on links on our website to go learn about how to properly format your own address list for our system. So, if you're going to do your own address list, you can select that option and go to Browse, because you'll need to submit the file that you want us to use. And in this one, I've got a file called creditor.txt. And this is a list of addresses that I have from one of my cases. There we go. Index. Okay. Now, the first option was for us to go online to ECF. The second option was for you to provide us with your own matrix. The third option is that we'll do both. We'll go online and grab the matrix, and you can upload your own index file to us as well. You can select that as an option, but you'll also still need to fill out this form or grab this file that you're going to upload to us. In most cases, it's just simply easier to check this box, and we'll go online and grab the mailing matrix for you. The next section asks you if the mailing contains any international recipients. In most cases, it'll be no, but if you do have international mailings, let us know and we'll be on the lookout for it. Click Next to advance to the next screen. Okay, in this section, we're going to look for certified mailing recipients. Certified mail means that they will have to go and sign for that mail when they receive it. You can add in your own addresses, you can send us a mailing list, or you can tell us that the entire mailing matrix that you attached previously should have everyone receiving certified registered mail. There is a $25 charge if we do certified mail for you, because we have to process this and take it down to the post office by hand. If you have just one or two certified recipients, it's probably easier just to do this in your office and you'll save some money. If you have a large list of people that needs to be receiving certified mail, then you can have us do it and it'll be more economical. In most cases, you won't have any certified recipients in your mailings, so you can just click on No Certified Recipients and you'll move on to the next screen. This next option is to tell us how many pages per side of paper. Think of a piece of paper as a sheet, and think of the number of pages we're going to put on its pages per side. So most times when you print something off of your printer, it probably prints 1 page per side. In our case, we like to print 2 pages per side because it cuts down on paper usage. The default is going to be set to select 2 pages per side of sheet of paper. And we'll print pages 1 and 2 on the first side, and pages 3 and 4 on the back. The next question is, should our certificate of service be mailed with your documents? And the answer in most cases is no. Very few districts require this. So if you don't have to do it, don't do it, because it will only increase your printing costs as well as potentially your mailing costs. Check no, as that's the best option. If your court district requires it, then check yes. On to the next screen. Now, depending on how you file your documents on ECF and Pacer, we could attach the documents to the front of your certificate. That way you can upload it all at once. You can do notice, motion, exhibits, proposed order, as well as a certificate of service in one large file. Some ECF systems will let you do this. Other courts make you break it up so that the notice goes in as one entry heading, the motion goes in as another entry heading, the proposed order is yet another entry heading, and the proof of service goes at the end. So in essence, you could actually have 4 or 5 ECF entries for just one simple motion. How you choose to approach this is up to you and the way your district works, but we give you the option of allowing you to attach your PDF certificate and your documents together in one file. We also know that every office uses a different naming convention, and some of you want us to name the file something in particular that will follow your filing format naming convention. So we've added on this feature to allow you to put in what you want it to say. If you ask us to name the certificate as Simpson Certificate of Mailing, you would type it in right there. You could be as detailed or as minimalist as you want. If we don't see anything and you don't type in anything, well then, we'll just name it COS, and you can file it wherever you need to file it on your system. On to the next page. And this is the actual page where you upload all of your documents. So we'll start right here. You can upload your first file by just simply clicking on Browse. And then you'll scroll to where you find the file that you want to send in. So here's an objection that I filed for a case of mine called Bailey Objection. I'll just grab that. And we'll call it Bailey Objection to Claim of Mortgage Servicer. It's important to title the document because that title is going to be what shows up on the certificate. So, if you leave that title section blank, our certificate will not show that we served anything for you. But if you type in the title of your document, then that is what will show up on the certificate. So in this case, after I've served this file and I get my certificate back, it's going to say that on this day and time, certificateofservice.com did file and served, I shouldn't say file, they just served the Bailey Objection to Claim of a Mortgage Servicer. And they'll have a date and time and a signature from BK Attorney Services, which is certificateofservice.com. You have room for up to 10 different files. Each file also needs to have a corresponding title. When you've filled in all the entire sections, you can click on Next. Understand that there's also a 5 megabyte upload limit. Bigger than that, and we won't be able to accept it. This section is for special instructions, and it allows you to tell us something in particular. So for instance, maybe you don't want me to serve this until tomorrow. So you could say, please do not serve until tomorrow. And that way when we get it, we'll put the job on hold. This is not a place for you to tell us where to add in additional creditors or to take out additional creditors or to make any modifications to the mailing list. If we're going to make modifications to the mailing list, then you need to upload the mailing list to us, with the exception of the following section. address exclusions. In this section, we can actually take out certain addresses so that they do not receive mail. Almost always, the bankruptcy court will be taken out automatically. This is because the bankruptcy court uses ECF, and they're not interested in receiving your paper documents. You could also opt to remove the U.S. trustee by simply clicking on that box. In most cases, though, you want to be as thorough as possible and mail to as many people as possible. But perhaps you don't want to receive that document in the mail because you already know that you put it in there. So if you want to exclude your name, you can. For me, my name appears on the matrix as follows, JS Jump. And it's very particular because there's a period in there, a capital S, and of course JAY and JUMP. If I type in my name exactly as it appears on the creditor matrix, then my address will be excluded from the mailing. If I do it incorrectly, and I type in JJump, that's not going to work because our system won't be able to reconcile the JJump text with the actual presentation of JSJump in the creditor mailing matrix. So you always want to ensure that if you're going to exclude a name, it matches exactly the name that appears on the matrix. If you have additional parties that you want to exclude, you can list them here. So for instance, perhaps Capital One shouldn't receive this mailing. I can't imagine why they wouldn't, but we're going to use them as an example. I could type it in. Now, Capital One, if their name appears exactly like that on the matrix, will be excluded. If you don't put in any exclusions, the word none will appear, and we won't exclude anything more. So for instance, in my district, the U.S. trustee will receive everything via ECF. I don't need to receive a copy of my own documents. And so this mailing will go out to everybody with the exception of the bankruptcy court, the U.S. trustee, and myself. Now, on the certificate, these exclusions will show up with a red line drawn through them, and that will tell the court and everybody else in the world that those parties were not served. Once you've completed this section, you can go on to the last one. This is simply the user agreement and the upload screen. You already filled out the user agreement and reviewed it when you registered originally. This is just a reprint of it for each time that you upload a job. You must check the box that says you are certifying you've read the agreement and that you'll pay via your credit card pursuant to the terms of your credit card. Last but not least, you must enter this CAPTCHA code. It is not capital sensitive or case sensitive, so you can type in a lowercase e and it will still work. Once you've filled that in, click on Upload the Mailing, and I have an incorrect security code. 162625. Perhaps it is case sensitive. Nope. If this happens, and it does, what you can do is simply click on the refresh up here and get a new case number, or get a new CAPTCHA code. DF89B7. And you get the screen that says upload is successful. Now, you can go back and do another bankruptcy mailing, or you can go back to the home page. A lot of people have job after job to upload, and this is a great place for you to simply click on upload another bankruptcy mailing, and you start the process all over again. While I'm here, we'll take a moment to look at the job stop button. This is if you uploaded the job in error. If you've made a mistake, you have the button right here, or you can go back to the home page and a button is there. And as you scroll down, you'll find the job stop button. Now, we have a limited amount of time to stop a job. Once it's been uploaded to us, it's put into a queue, along with every other job that's been uploaded. So, if you catch your mistake in the first few minutes, probably not going to be a big deal. But if more than 30 minutes goes by chances are we will not be able to stop your job because it's already been printed and stuffed and stamped. And if it gets to that point, then we can't pull it back. But if you do find that you've made an error and you need to stop a job, simply click on Job Stop. You'll need the confirmation email that you were sent earlier, but if you fill in the information on this form, you fill out the form and say what kind of job you did. And on that confirmation email, you'll have the tracking number. Here we'll just use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll indicate that the debtor's name is Homer Simpson. And the case number is 00-00000. And the checkbox that says, please stop this job immediately. Click on Submit, and your job will be stopped. From this front screen on the web page, you can navigate to any one of our forms. We do all sorts of different kinds of mailing, not just bankruptcy mailing. We do probate mailing, creditor mailing, we do mail for the trustees. We also do background asset checks when you're wondering whether or not your client has any property that he or she didn't disclose. Well, that concludes this feature presentation on how to do your own bankruptcy mailing.